So imagine I've stitched all the way around the perimeter and I've got my last triple stitch in place, triple blanket stitch. And now I need to connect him with my previous starting when we start our very beginning start. So I have him and I've got my last stitch there leaning to the left. I'm going to go ahead and go in next to this guy right here, which is where we started. And I'm going to make sure I'm working in the circle there, up and under. Now he is my stitch that needs to lean to the right. And there, I connected him. So we started here, stitched all the way around, and connected one stitch to make it triple. I started it with just the two and made it a triple by ending it so that you have really a seamless beginning and ending there. Nobody is going to tell that you started at about 7 o'clock based on my suggestion. Sorry about that. Nobody's going to be able to tell that you started at about the 7 o'clock position as we went around stitching it right-handed clockwise, counterclockwise, and ended there. And again, I'm going to go to the back again, and I am working between these two stitches because this was my original start. And I'm going to just repeat that. I'm jumping over the thread. It's got to go over the top of the existing perimeter thread. And then I'm going to try to my best ability to coax it between those two layers again. Not pull it so tight that it jumbles up. I've got it a little tight, so I'm just going to kind of coax it a little bit. And the way I'm coaxing it is I'm using the blunt end of the needle, and I'm just kind of lifting the perimeter of those stitches up a little bit so I didn't have it too tight. I'm going to weave that, to the left, to the right, not allowing it to show on the front. And I'm going to go back to the right. I'm going to cut that close. That going right or left and right is really like tying a knot. But I have two, and that was my other ending right there, so I'm going to get rid of that. I've got two knots that are, actually three, that are visible on the wrong side. And here's what I want you to do. Your final job, or second to the final job here, is to go back to that pressing sheet, go back to steam pressing. And I literally want you to steam press it for a final time. And you're going to literally set the stitches. Again, don't worry about flattening your work. It's going to take moisture back out of your environmental air, I promise. And I'd probably turn it to this side and steam press, especially that perimeter, because that's where we just worked. Okay. And you're just kind of melding those stitches into the fusible against the flannel in this case, or against the wool work. And then once you have steam pressed that, then very gently lift up on these knots. Get in the camera there. Get your scissors up under there, but don't cut your cotton, and just cut that baby away. And you can pull on it a little bit, and he's going to hide between the layers, and I've got two more to do. So lift your knot a little bit, cut it close without cutting your cotton, pull on it just a teeny bit, and it'll just shrink right up under there. And then my last one. All right, so that is, I'm going to cut that guy a little closer. That is a no knot beginning and ending, where I've gone in and done away with my knots. Now you can see some of my gold thread, but don't panic. You can see a little bit of my little specks of my gold thread. You're not using a contrasting thread again. You're using that 930 antique blue that matches the project perfectly. So just two more tasks, I think, maybe three. One, go ahead and put a label on this so you remember when you made it, who the designer was, all that kind of information. Maybe you even want to write something about year 2020 because it's been a doozy. Maybe you want to include that on your label. Second thing is, find somewhere spectacular to display it because it deserves that. You've done a super good job. And then the third thing is, you know, kudos to the Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum, again, for hosting my work and allowing you to stitch along, them editing videos, putting them up for us, etc. So I hope that whether you send a note or are able to stop in, that you'll let them know that you enjoyed the stitch along or some of the other content that they have on their website, on their Facebook page, on Instagram, and just let them know thank you and you're interested, and tell them what you'd like to see next. That always works too. So I'm going to sign off with you, Laura Bosma, Pretty Penny Precuts in your Southeastern Quilt and Textile Museum, with the finished project, Midnight Pumpkin. Thank you for joining us.